Well, welcome back to the CCA Workbench, right,
Yes,
Dave?
sir.
And every week we talk about rigs and techniques.
Right.
And it's that time.
Well, we're going to talk about one of my favorite fish to catch, which is a triple tail, and they're caught all in the Gulf of Mexico and all around Florida and all the way in any tropical sea is the triple tail, and he's a really strange fish. In an ocean full of strange fishes, he's a strange guy. He's called a triple tail because he's got a big tail and he's got two lobes of on his anal fin and his top fin up there. It's like a second dorsal fin that look like three tails. They're all so big. It looks almost like a couple of them he could walk on. But that's why they call him a triple tail. And he's usually a black color when he gets older, or even a black to a silver color as he gets older. But when they're small, they're like a yellowish, like sargassum color, or mottled gray and black and orange. They can be a lot of different colors. And a lot of times when we see them offshore, when they're babies, about half a pound, there can be hundreds of them, like on a rope or any kind of debris. Now these things, that's how these things feed. So they're very attracted to debris, and how they feed is they'll lay up on their side and pretend like they're a piece of debris. They'll be the shadow, and they'll try to get little fish to come up around them and get in their shadow because they're laying on their side on the surface. And when those little fish or shrimp or whatever get close to their mouth, wapow, he'll snatch out there and eat them. And I've caught triple tail. Even when I was trolling ballyhoo, they can be very ferocious at times, and they're always very curious about anything that's floating. We fight when we're looking for dolphin. We quite often will see these triple tail offshore, and that's how you can catch them year round. But in Texas, these triple tail in the summertime, they come into the bay, and West Matagorda Bay especially is probably one of the prime areas to catch triple tails because there's a lot of gas lines and bric-a-brac and stuff on the bottom there that really attracts them. They're not real sure why there's so many in there, but there's quite a few triple tail in there. And how you catch them in there, the water's a little dirty, so it's not really sight fishing as much as going to these crab pots and channel markers, or
submerged pipe, whatever.
Submerged pipe especially. A shallow water wreck in 15 feet of water will hold more than one most of the times. And what you can do is you can get you a live shrimp, which is probably the best triple tail bait there is. They like little small fish, but a live shrimp is really great to have, or a live shrimp imitator of any kind. But a fresh live shrimp, a big shrimp. If you want to catch big triple tail,
or you want a big one?
Exactly.
Let's just go ahead and put a big one in
whopper. Use a big one. If you're in a place where there's a lot of little ones, 2, 3 pounds, 4 pounds, big enough to catch and eat, you can get by with those little ones. But if there's 12, 14, 15, 30 pounders, yes, they get up to 30 pounds, some even 50 pounds actually. It's a world record, something like that.
Wow.
And imagine that. They fight incredibly hard. They jump and leap in the air, very, very aggressive jumping. And I've actually been trolling along with ballyhoo and seen triple tail skipping across the surface on his side before he piles on to a full ballyhoo on a pin rig.
Wow.
And that's quite a bite to see. It's amazing because then they go crazy if you hook them. The biggest one I ever caught was also on a ballyhoo, because I'm always trolling ballyhoos. But I was coming in for the day, and a lot of times as we're coming in for the day, we'll stop at mats of sargassum just to see if there's any dolphin or anything around them. And sure enough, as we came up to this one, I saw a big fish peel off from underneath and start to head down. And I just instinctively flipped out a ballyhoo on a pin rig and let it sink. Well, he picked it up as it went down, and it was like 15 pounds. Woo. 15, which is a good size one for where we live.
So Dave, cleaning a triple tail because of their armor-like scales.
Well, they're armored because they're laying on their side in the sun all day. So they got thick scales, and and I guess because they're so vulnerable, all around them they've got spines. Right. All over, they've got a spine on their gill plate.
Raker.
That's a monster.
Raker,
they've got one on the bottom on their pec fins, right. Except on their back. Right. And their back it's like a little miniature buzzsaw, a circular saw all the way around. And his skin is very thick, so you got to have a really sharp knife, and you gotta make sure you keep sharpening it as you're going along.
The red bloodline after you get a nice fillet off of a 10 or a 15 pounder.
Right.
You like cutting that bloodline out?
Yeah, it's so good. You know, you don't even have to. A lot of guys will, but I don't care about it because it's so good. I'm usually frying them all up anyway. He's probably my third favorite fish of all, besides a raw yellowfin tuna and a wahoo. and then comes a triple tail. He's just that good a fish to eat.
Well, there you have it, guys. That's Dave's favorite, one of his favorite all-time fish. And Sarah, I know your favorite all-time fish is a sailfish, but what region are we going to next?
Yep.